Hello everyone. Today we are going to read this lesson, that is Suspense in Satpura. So basically this lesson is about Satpura National Park, and Satpura National Park is located in Madhya Pradesh. Okay, it is rich in biodiversity. The animals here include leopard, sambar, wild bear, fox, flying squirrel, and there are variety of birds in this national park. It has around 1300 species of plants, which include teak, sal, bamboo, and maua. So here one can enjoy spotting different species of animal, and it is really a very thrilling activity. So in this lesson we will see that the writer had been to Satpura National Park, and the writer is sharing his experience, okay, what he spotted there, what he encountered there, and how was his experience, how he was feeling. So this lesson is all about that. So come on, let's read the lesson. Have you ever been on a safari? Did you see any wild animals? Were you disappointed on not seeing any wild animals? Now, what is the meaning of safari? Safari means a trip to see or hunt animals. Okay, so this is the meaning of safari. So if you students, you have been on safari, so you must have you can share your experience, okay, and that whether if you have been on safari, then there did you see any wild animal or not, or if you have not seen, how was your feeling, were you disappointed on not seeing any wild animal, and if you have seen, so how was your feeling. So these things you can share, okay. We start out from the forest lodge just before daybreak. The forest is so silent that one can only hear the rustle of the sal leaves. The white ghost tree holds my gaze for a while as the sun's first golden rays shine through the branches. The forest sleepily awakens to a new day. So the writer, the narrator with his friends, they started from the forest lodge. Forest lodge, the meaning of lodge is cottage, and it was before the day they started this, means it was just morning, okay, and they started this, their journey, their trip. Now the forest was so silent that one can hear the when the leaves move due to wind, and the type of sound that you can hear, rustle. The meaning of rustle is soft and cracking sound caused by the movement of dry leaves. So the forest was so silent that the narrator and his friends could hear the rustling sound of the sal leaves, that soft and cracking sound of the leaves when they move due to wind. The white ghost tree holds my gaze for a while as the sun's first golden rays shine through the branches. Now the trees were also very tall, and the sun's first golden rays were shining through the branches of the tree. And this sight was very beautiful, which caught the attention of the narrator. The forest sleepily awakens to a new day. So before this the forest was sleeping, but now as the you can see the first golden rays of the sun has reached the forest, now the forest slowly awakens, okay, and it welcomes a new day. The naturalist and the forest guide are deep in discussion about the previous day's unexpected bear sighting. They suddenly stop in mid-conversation. The silence is broken by the distinct sound of a somber deer's alarm call deep in the forest. A predator, most likely a tiger, bear, or leopard, is in the vicinity. So the meaning of naturalist is the person who studies plants, animals, birds and other living beings. So the naturalist and the forest guide, they were involved in a discussion, and they were discussing their previous day experience when they have encountered a bear. So they have seen a bear the previous day, and it was really unexpected. They did not expect that bear to be there, and they were discussing about that unexpected bear sighting. So the previous day they encountered and they spotted a bear, and they were involved in this discussion. Then suddenly what happened in the middle of the conversation, their conversation was interrupted and the conversation was stopped. Why? Because the silence was broken by a peculiar sound, a different kind of sound, and this sound was coming from a Sambar's deer alarm call deep in the forest. So there was a sound made by a deer, and sambar deer, it is a kind of deer, and it was an alarm call. This sound was an alarm call. Why it was an alarm call? Because the narrator expected that there is a predator. A predator means the animal which hunt on another animal. So they expected and they guessed that the deers are making this sound. Why? Because there can be a tiger, bear or leopard in the vicinity. The meaning of vicinity is nearby. So they guessed that this deer is making this kind of sound because there must be any predator nearby. You can see the picture. See, this is the picture of Satpura National Park. Okay, now let's move to the next part of the lesson. We head in the direction of the deer's call, while langurs chime from the trees above. Their cuff-like alarm call is giving me goose pimples. So now what the narrator and his friends did, they started moving in the direction of the sound. They started moving in the same direction from where that sound was coming. Okay, and as they were moving closer and closer to the sound, what happened? They could experience the narrator was getting goose pimples. Now what is the meaning of goose pimples? Goose pimples means that you must have seen that a state of skin caused by cold, fear or excitement, in which small bumps appear on the surface as the hair becomes erect. So whenever we are feeling very cold or whenever we are afraid, then you can see the state of your skin. Your hairs are become erect and small bumps you can see on the surface of your skin. That is the meaning of goose pimples. It actually happened because of cold or fear or excitement. So as they were heading towards the call, they were heading towards in that direction only from which the sound was coming, the narrator started getting goose pimples. Perhaps you have been on a safari in an Indian national park. You may have felt the excitement of being in the presence of a predator or a big cat. I felt it too, except my excitement was tinged with cold fear because we weren't in a jeep as we drew nearer to the alarm calls. We were on foot in the forest of Satpura National Park in Madhya Pradesh, filming for a documentary. So now the narrator is telling you that if you people have also been on a safari, then you must have also experienced this kind of feeling when you get a mixed feeling. Means you are excited also. Why you are excited? Because you are excited that you can encounter or you can spot any wild animal. So you are excited for that, but at the same time you are afraid also. Okay, why you are afraid? Because you know that they are the dangerous predator, they are the dangerous wild animals. So you are afraid also and you are excited also. It is a mixed kind of feeling that you get when you are on a safari. Big cat, all the, you can say, the tiger, leopards, they are also known as big cat. Now, what was the reason why the narrator was getting the goose pimples and why the narrator was afraid? Because they were not in jeep. So you can imagine the danger, that they were not in the jeep and they were in a forest and they are surrounded by the predators, they were surrounded by the dangerous wild animals. So how dangerous it could be? And they were not in the jeep, and they were moving closer and closer in the direction of the sound. They were moving closer and closer nearer to that alarm calls, and they were on foot. Now the narrator has also revealed the purpose, that why they were in Satpura National Park. The purpose was that they wanted to film a documentary. So this was the purpose, and for this they have been to this Satpura National Park. Now, what is the meaning of documentary? Documentary is a non-fictional motion picture. Non-fictional means it is a real picture. It is a non-fictional motion picture, and it is prepared for the purpose of instructions, education, or maintaining a historical record. So the narrator was there for filming a documentary on Satpura National Park in Madhya Pradesh. We followed the alarm clock. So the narrator continued moving in the direction of that alarm call from where that sound was coming. We followed the alarm calls of sambar deers and langurs. I shuddered at the idea of sharing the ground with a tiger, leopard, or bear. We tiptoed closer and closer to the dense foliage. We hoped our camouflage clothing would help blend into the surroundings. Adrenaline rushed through my body and goose pimples covered my arms. So narrator and his friends, they continued to move in the direction of the sound, and the deers and the langurs, they were making a very loud sound, which is being referred to as an alarm call. Why it is being referred to an alarm call? I told you, because there must be any predator nearby. And the narrator was shuddered. Shuddered means shook with fear. Why he was shook with fear? Because he knew that these langurs and deers are making such a loud noise, because they must have seen a tiger or leopard can be nearby. And this feeling and only this imagination that the narrator was sharing the ground with a tiger and leopard really shook him with fear. But he continued moving in the direction of the sound, and they were moving closer and closer to the dense foliage. The meaning of foliage is leaf, flowers, and branches. Now the narrator hoped that our camouflage means a way of hiding by looking like a part of the surroundings. You have seen that army men, the kind of the uniform that they wear when they are in a hilly region or in a desert region. They wear a brown color uniform so that they can hide themselves easily, because the color of their uniform match with the surrounding, and so they blend with the surrounding, and so it becomes very difficult to spot them, and they can hide easily. When they are in the forest, then they will wear some green kind color uniform so that they can easily mix into the surrounding. So the narrator and his friends were also wearing that kind of clothing only, and so they were hoped that though they were on foot, but they will not be easily spotted by the predator, because because of their clothing they can blend into the environment, into the surroundings. Adrenaline rushed through my body and goose pimples covered my arms. Now, what is this adrenaline? It is a substance produced in the body that makes the heart beat faster when one is angry, excited, or afraid. So the narrator was having this kind of feeling. He was really very afraid also and excited also, and this substance adrenaline rushed into his body, and it is a type of substance which is produced in the body and it makes your heart beat faster. Then just as suddenly as the alarm calls had started, they stopped. Okay, had started, they stopped. But my excited brain made me imagine a predator was breathing close by. We emerged from the bush, relieved but disappointed as well. As we came out onto the trail, we were met by curious spectators in forest jeeps. They looked at us in amazement, flashing their shiny cameras. Too bad we weren't tigers. So now when this alarm call had started, this narrator and his companion, they stopped, and they were expecting that there will be a tiger or the leopard nearby. But what happened? They could hear someone breathing very close to them, and when they came out of the bush, they were relieved. Now they were relieved. Why they were relieved, we will see. They were relieved also, and they were disappointed also. They could see that there was another group of people. They were also in jeep. Okay, and they were curious spectators. These people also, they were on jeep, and they have also come there to encounter and spot some wild animal in Satpura National Park. And seeing this jeep and seeing these people, those langurs and sambar deers, they were making such a loud noise. But the narrator expected that these deers and langurs are making the noise because there can be any tiger or leopard nearby. So the narrator was relieved that thanks God there is no tiger or leopard nearby, but at the same time he was disappointed also, because he had been to Satpura National Park because he wanted to spot those wild animals. But instead of that, what they saw, that there was another group of people who were in jeep, and they were also carrying their cameras. And those people also, they were also disappointed because they also expected to spot a tiger or a leopard or any wild animal or any predator, but they were also unlucky, and they also cannot use their cameras. The next day, we took the public boat across the Denwa River and hopped onto a forest jeep on the other side. Those forest trails, brimming with activity on the ground, up in the air, never failed to get my adrenaline racing. A mugger crocodile basking in the sunshine on the back of a pound with its mouth wide open. A wild gaur with a 1-day-old calf, a giant squirrel playing in the branches of a tree, magnificent birds, a jungle cat in the bushes, and the sloth bear casually nibbling on grass and crossing the path before us, and another one wandering further into the wilderness. The forest is a very exciting friend. So the next day, the narrator and his friends decided that they took a public boat, and then they moved across the Denwa River, and they were now on this day they were ready to explore the other side of the forest, and they were in a jeep. So when they went to the other side of the forest, that day was not disappointing because they could spot different kind of animals, and they encountered a mugger crocodile. It is a type of crocodile. The crocodile was basking in the sunshine. Basking means, the meaning of basking is sun bath. Okay, when we lie in the sun for pleasure or for relaxation, when we are exposed to the warmth and the light from the sun for relaxation or pleasure, or you can simply say sunbath. So they spotted a crocodile which was basking in the sunshine on the bank of a pond and its mouth was wide open. They also spotted a wild boar which had 1 day old calf, and a giant squirrel was also playing in the branches of the tree. Magnificent birds, the meaning of magnificent is impressive, or you can say very beautiful. And then they saw a jungle cat in the bushes. They encountered a sloth bear casually nibbling. Nibbling means taking small bites. So that sloth was taking small bites, eating grass, okay, and crossing the path before us. Another one wandering further into the wilderness. The meaning of wilderness is uninhabited, uncultivated land, uninhabited land, lonely land. The meaning of wilderness is that. So next day they spotted many different kind of animals, okay, and they found the forest to be an exciting friend. It's been weeks since my trip to National Park, but I can still close my eyes and dream that I am in Satpura, walking by the light of dimly lit lanterns. My head turns skyward as the stars begin to appear everywhere above me. I can still hear stories about the day's sighting with the naturalist and fellow travelers. I can't wait to go back someday. So now it has been weeks and the narrator returned from the national park, but in the last para he's telling that he enjoyed so much, and he really liked his experience, and he liked that feeling that he once again want to go back to Satpura National Park. And whenever he closes his eyes, he cannot stop dreaming about Satpura National Park. He feels as if he is walking in the park, and he's walking in the light of a dimly lit lanterns, because it was a forest, so you know that there will be no provision for lightning, and they used to carry lanterns over there. So he could imagine all those situation, he could imagine the situation, and he really enjoyed it, and he wanted to once again go to Satpura National Park. So this was all about the lesson, students. At the end of the lesson you can see all the difficult words are given, so you need to go through the meaning of these difficult words. You need to note down these words in your fair copy, and in the next video, students, we will be discussing question and answer of this lesson. Okay, thanks for watching and take care.